Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Point After Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb. That's my boy Jay to the left or right, wherever you're looking. um, 41, bro. We're getting close to 50, bro.
Yep. About 9 more away.
9 more away, bro. How you doing though, bro?
Hey, bro, just chilling, waiting for this draft up coming up about I don't know, like 8 days or something now or something. But yeah, honestly, I'm just looking forward to that and nothing else. Honestly, I could give a fuck. But yeah, how about you, my boy?
I've been good, man. I've started my weight loss journey, man.
Yes, sir.
Transformation,
There we go.
2025.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it, bro. Just in the gym, watching what I eat, dieting. No more fast food, no more of that junk stuff.
Can't do that. Nope.
Yeah, and I've started swimming too, like on like days that I'm not working out. Um, I'm still getting used to it because my energy kind of fluctuates. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's my
right.
I gotta get my body right, but it's been good. Also got a new phone. Hold on.
Yeah. Yeah. Shut that off real quick. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But I've been good, bro. Blessed always.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll get started on these topics today, man. What we got first?
All right, man. Shedeur Sanders.
Mm.
Jacob, is it right to call me a Shedeur fan? You feel like that's fair?
For sure. I think so.
Okay, you're
I think
right.
so.
Yeah, I'm a Shedeur fan. But look, speaking of my guy, Shedeur Sanders, man, I think the best situation for Shedeur Sanders is the New Orleans Saints. And the reason why I think it's the New Orleans Saints is because, well, we're going to get to it in the next topic, but I think having the ability to be in a situation with an offensive mind like Kellen Moore, one of the more up and coming OCs before he got hired. He had stops with the Chargers, the Cowboys, and recently the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's a Saints team that has some weapons on offense. Their offensive line is not what it used to be, but it's still solid. Their defense obviously is aging, but again, they have a few pieces there as well with Pete Warner, Alonzo Taylor. I don't know if I pronounced his first name right, but he's a nice up and coming corner. They did lose Paulson Adebo, which that's going to hurt them a little bit moving forward. But I think this is the right place for him. I think the Saints, they need this though. The Saints need some juice. They see some life ever since Drew Brees has retired, and really those last few years in the playoffs, like it's just the Saints team. They just need some energy, and I think Shedeur fits here. I think this will be a great spot for him. You look at their offensive pieces with Alvin Kamara, who I think they should have traded, but hey, he's still a productive back in this league, all around league. And you got Chris Olave, you got Rashid Shaheed as well on the outside. Jawan Johnson at tight end is, I think, one of the more underrated pass catching tight ends that we have in the NFL. Like I said, the line does need, I think, some work, but it isn't awful. But I just like this situation. Young head coach with a young quarterback. Obviously, we're going to talk about my guy DC and what his situation. His season might be up in the air, but
Terrible.
Short of the Saints, bro. I like it.
I mean, I don't know if I particularly like it. I think it'd be the smartest move for the Saints. That's for sure. I just don't think Shedeur is going to survive there. I don't think it's a very good built upon franchise, in my opinion, especially after Drew Brees left. They clearly have no direction because guess what? If Derek Carr, we'll get to this obviously, if Derek Carr didn't have this upcoming injury that happened, the notion was that they were going to keep on going with Derek Carr. So they don't have no type of direction, which means that this team don't have a plan. And I don't like that. I mean, yes, you like Chris Olave. He's great.
Concussions.
He's known to have concussion. And this is not even just me bargaining on his issues. Like, I just hate the hits and the falls he takes. So it's very risky with him. And then Shaheed, obviously, is he coming off injury, or correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, but he's going to be fully healthy by the
Fully
time
healthy. That's
training
perfect.
camp.
That's perfect, but you got to watch out for him. So you may want to add another piece, maybe a slot, and later in the draft as well. But I like it. You look at the teams above them: Carolina, Jets, Raiders, Jaguars, Patriots. They're not going quarterback route, so it's honestly going to fall right in New Orleans' lap, and it's up to them if they really want to pursue Shedeur.
Hmm.
Obviously, coming from Colorado, he's been worked with kind of a not so good offensive line. So I think that comes with the sort of an advantage coming into the league where some O lines aren't built to protect the quarterback. You're gonna be running a little bit. You're gonna be having to move around the pocket a little bit more, which I think Shador is accustomed to now. So yeah, not a bad move. It's just you got to add around him, and then I don't know, man. It's an aging team with some slight young pieces. I don't
Hmm.
honestly though. If let's say the Saints don't get him, does he fall, and where does he fall? Because I think it's between. Hear me out. If he's falling, and none of these teams, i.e., Chicago, Niners, Cowboys, Miami, Colts, Falcons, Cardinals, Bengals, are not picking quarterback. We know this. Hold on, Seahawks and the Steelers is where if New Orleans doesn't go that route, I feel like he might fall 18th or 21, just in my opinion. But either or, it's not a bad situation to end up in either. They're not terrible teams.
I just like the Saints too because the division isn't too like daunting. You know what I mean?
It's not too
Like,
bad, right?
yeah, you look at the Buccaneers, you look at the Panthers, the Falcons. You know,
Well, Falcons are gonna be a lot better this year. I feel like Penix, he's gonna be starting the whole season. I feel like you're gonna get a lot of upside there, possibly a lot more wins. And then same thing with Carolina with Bryce coming along. So we'll see.
nice, but
I
again,
feel like
I don't
it,
see any.
it'd be nice to yes, you don't see anybody taking the baton and winning the division. I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, it wouldn't be bad for Shador to mix in with this like young division of quarterbacks. That'd be a really young division, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm looking more at these young players and Alontae Taylor. I don't want to say Alontae. Alontae Taylor at
Mhm.
cornerback. Brian Breach, who they drafted at defensive tackle, he's a stud. And Taliso Fuaga, the offensive tackle as well. So they have that tackle a young tackle to protect Shador and my boy Kool-Aid McKinstry at
Yes, sir.
cornerback. I knew I was forgetting, bro. I was
One of the
forgetting one of the dudes.
one of the
But
Niners grab him.
but like the Saints have some young pieces, but they're mixed with a lot of like veteran
Veteran.
guys.
Yeah,
And
and guys on like the way out.
yeah,
And yeah,
Demario Davis and Tyron Matthew and like you said, I think they should have moved on from Kamara. That's just my opinion. But
you could have got some good capital for him.
the Saints. I'll say this: the Saints are interesting. If all things go well and they can stay healthy, they got a shot to compete in the division.
Sure.
But these last few years, they've just been the injury bug is just like I don't know what goes on over in that organization, but everyone's been hurt these last few years for this team. So, but I just think Shador Sanders for me, if, just being real, I just don't think he's ready to play right away. I don't think I think down the line in a few years, I think he can be really good. Um,
Do you think Cam Ward's ready to play right away? I don't.
no, I don't think none of these quarterbacks for me I look at as generational. Like
Hmm.
I think they're good that could develop into being really good quarterbacks in this league. Like with Shador, one thing that obviously sticks out to me is just naturally is just his confidence and his leadership that he has. Obviously, he's someone who can stand in the pocket. He isn't he's not someone who shies away from, he doesn't get happy feet. Obviously, he's not the greatest athlete, which is some of the concerns around Shador Sanders, where if you look at Cam Ward, the arm strength, the arm talent, the athleticism, how he's able to just throw from different angles. But I just think both those guys need a year to sit, maybe two, if I'm being honest. But the problem is, when you draft these quarterbacks right away and really early, is that you throw them out of the fire. And I think it's really rare to have a Jaden Daniels situation or a Joe Burrow, or you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Like those guys with CJ Stroud, like that's just rare. Even Pat Mahomes, he sat for a year behind
Yep.
Alex Smith.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
You did. You did.
I'm intrigued by it because I think it's real, bro. I think it's scab, bro. And if it
No,
does,
I think
Pops is
it's
gonna
gonna
be
happen.
happy.
I already know. But yeah, I don't see the Giants taking a quarterback here. Like you just don't pay Russell that amount of money just to
No.
sit. Like we've been said this, and it genuinely would be stupid when you could build upon that defense, which is your biggest deficiency.
Hey, Kayvon Thibodeau in trade rumors on draft night might get moved.
Hey, I mean, he hasn't been too productive. I mean, then again, he hasn't had much help. So
Well, I mean, I think I'm blanking out. Oh yeah, Abdul Carter. I think the Giants. I think they're gonna probably take Abdul Carter, bro. I think that's
honestly,
the pick.
I'm gonna go with the Browns taking Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I
I,
think
re-
it's
I, re-
Browns
I,
and Giants
I,
for
re-
sure.
Browns or Giants for sure. I think if the Browns do it, it's the smartest move you could do because then you signed Joe Flacco as well, right? So I mean, you got a guy who could throw the ball to your receivers and get it there on time, and not be Deshaun Watson, at least the watch version of him. But they're gonna get some offensive points at least. So if you have a killer defense and that killer line with Abdul and Miles
Yeah,
Garrett, I mean, I'm scared.
yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
And keep in mind, look
Shedeur's
at
the
their
wild card, bro.
look at their defense these past couple years. Yes, absolutely. Look at their defense these past couple years too. They've been one of the best. So add Abdul Carter, that's disgusting.
I think I think just Giants defense going into next year is going to be really good.
Mhm.
The question is just going to be offensively. Their offensive line stinks outside of Andrew Thomas.
Okay, before we get off this Shedeur topic real quick, is there any chance? Because I know we say, yeah, they could fall to the Saints or anything, blah blah blah. We do remember that picture with Gino and Shedeur. Do the Raiders take a chance or take a shot or even have discussions at 6 if he is on the board?
Yeah, I think there's discussions. I think the three main players that I think the Raiders are considering right now, in my opinion, is
I
Shedeur
already know.
Sanders,
Mhm.
Ashton Genty, and I think Will Johnson.
Johnson, yeah.
Those are the three players I think they're looking at. I think McMillan is a wild card, but
McMillan is the wild card. And it would have
I
helped,
don't.
honestly, with Gino. Honestly, just get another piece to put aside Myers. But yes, wild card.
Yeah, I mean, I think they look at it, but again, it's like you got to look at the optics here. It's like, okay, Pete Carroll, a 70-year-old coach, you know,
Not the time to really develop a quarterback, right?
you know what I mean? Like if this was like Pete Carroll, like when he left USC to go to Seattle, and this was the scenario, like yeah, but
We already got that scenario. That was Russell Wilson.
exactly. But I'm saying is like if Pete Carroll was a young coach coming to
Of
the
course, of
Raiders,
course.
I think Shedeur be realistic, but I think he wants to compete now, and he believes in Gino that he can compete with him. And Gino being at his age, like being a starter and playing at that level, would he be comfortable in sort of an Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation? I don't know. Wait and see. I think Gino's a good dude, and I don't think he would cause any trouble or any weird shit like that. But
No, there's been worse situations too.
yeah, and Gino obviously for most of his career he was a backup.
He's backup, so he knows how it feels. He knows how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. It's just I don't know.
For your team's direction, it'd be very smart to, especially Armin Memba. Like,
he's
like
the best tackle in the draft, bro. But
for
we
sure,
don't
for
we
sure.
don't need
Like
a tackle.
for pure tackle, he is the best in the draft. And this came from an assumption from a reporter, but besides the fact that'd be the stupidest pick, giving you guys just don't need it. You literally need running back, corner, or if you're really trying to wild card it,
Jalen
quarterback.
Ramsey,
If you could trade for him, then what do you give up?
bro. Jalen Ramsey at what 30 going on 31? That's probably
Mhm.
like a fourth,
Probably like a
fifth
top
round pick.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they fleece y'all and get a third, I'm gonna kind of laugh. But
I mean, Jalen Ramsey still. I mean, he's not the.
he's not as productive as he once was, but he's
No,
still he's
no,
kind of
he's still a number one. He just isn't like at one point, Jalen Ramsey was the undisputed best corner. He's still one of the best, but he's just not that guy. And it's because he's 30, 31, bro. Like he's getting a little older. But he's still, if you add Jalen Ramsey into our defense, we have a guy who can at least, he could take away number ones.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
Shedeur to the Raiders, maybe. But I don't know. But moving on, though, I don't want to make this a Raiders topic. Derek Carr, Jay, your guy, DC.
My guy.
Adam Schefter reported that a shoulder injury that he suffered. It's debating on if he's going to need surgery or not, but if he does get the surgery, he's likely done for the year. Shout out to Derek Carr. Him and his brother right now are doing like some kind of like videos on reviews on cars. People are posting like some. Derek Carr is a funny guy, bro. I don't know. Shout out to him, bro. But he has some kind of hobby he's got going on right now. It's hilarious. But what's your thoughts on Derek Carr if he, obviously has or is basically required to get this surgery and he's done for the year? Does it kind of force the Saints' hand to take a quarterback?
Honestly, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're gonna go with who's the boy they picked up last year? Because he didn't play too well when he had to fill in.
Tanner McKee?
No, not Tanner McKee. What's his name?
Oh, Taysom Hill played well, but Taysom Hill, he's a gadget guy.
Taysom Hill, man. No, God, it's not a quarterback.
He's a gadget, bro.
He's a gadget guy. He ain't no quarterback. What the hell?
I'm blanking out, bro.
Yeah,
who's the Saints quarterback, bro?
No, I'm trying to figure that out right now. Give me a second. Spencer Rattler. So
yeah, he showed some flashes in preseason, but clearly throughout the season, bro, he was
preseason. But if you go to the regular season, he didn't fill in too well. Obviously, he didn't have too many pieces to throw to.
He didn't at all,
which is true. Which is very true. So, if you don't want to give your 9th overall pick away to Shedeur and roll with Spencer Rattler, you got to give him another piece. I think like another wide receiver, draft a tight end, maybe. I don't know, but it's honestly 50-50. It's really dependent on will they know at draft time if Derek needs that surgery? I wonder, because I feel like that's really the deciding factor. Because if he doesn't need the surgery, they're gonna be like, all right, well, we could roll with Rattler for a few, and we'll see how Carr recovers and comes back. But if he needs the surgery, I feel like it's a no doubter. Like they need to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, and our previous talking about should have gone to the Saints. To be honest, I just feel like at this point the Saints, they got to get a quarterback, whether it's in the first or second round. They have to. Derek Carr, God bless him, Raiders legend.
If they don't get Shedeur, I could see a New Orleans Saints going with Quinn in the second round. I could see it.
Oh, I'm taking Jackson Dart, bro. I'm not taking Quinn Ewers.
I'm not saying who you would take. I'm saying what they're going to do. I'm not saying or let's question. When do organizations make smart decisions all the time? Usually never, right?
Yeah, Mickey Loomis, man.
So I'm
Mickey
saying
Loomis is not the greatest GM recently, bro.
So this is what I'm saying, man. And they picked Rattler. I mean, what upside did he really have? And
he was a 5-star coming out of high school.
Coming out of high school, though, dog. It's not college, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
I think no question. The Saints have to get a quarterback here. Derek Carr, like I said, God bless him. He's a good quarterback. He's a starter, but he's clearly not good enough to get to you where you want to go. He'll have moments. He'll have flashes. He'll have a few games.
What if he doesn't need? I agree. What if he doesn't need the surgery?
You still draft a quarterback. Like, okay. I just
would you postpone that draft a quarterback to the second, third round, or would you just still go first round draft a quarterback?
A lot of people think Jackson Dart's going to go mid to late first round,
which is very stupid because that would be a fat reach.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I will say about Jackson Dart is that he is an extremely mobile quarterback, and that dude has an absolute fucking rocket, bro. Like,
how many of those come in the league, though?
No, I hear you. I hear you. But I'm saying that's the intrigue. A lot of this stuff is going on potential. There's no doubt about it. I mean, look at Anthony Richardson, straight potential. You know what I mean? So
clearly not working though.
Yeah, I mean, some guys it works, some guys it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think they gotta go QB, man. Whether it's first round, second round, like they have to draft and develop their guy. And clearly, it's not going to be Spencer Rattler. I think Derek Carr for 1 year as like a placeholder is really good, but
And he going on 35.
he's not the
too, huh?
future, man. Huh?
He's going on 35 too, huh?
DC is like 33, 32. He ain't that old. If I
You're smoking, bro.
remember. I swear he ain't that old, bro.
You want to swear? 34.
Damn. I don't even know. Wow. Okay.
So,
Well, I mean,
so
that
if
doesn't make kind of. He's been in the league for a minute, bro.
so if he's out again, 35.
Yeah, and you know what though, and this is more. We're going more into the Saints organization. I think this is just more of a organizational
They have no
failure.
direction. They have no direction.
Yeah,
Right.
Mickey Loomis needs to go. He should have been gone years ago. All this restructuring of the contracts put this team into cap hell. Every single year, they're like $500 million trillion under the cap,
which I never understand.
Yeah, so and look, I get it. Like Cam Jordan, Saints legend, Demario Davis, again, Saints legend, Tyrann Mathieu, Hall of Famer. But these guys are just past it. You know what I mean? Even Kamara is still really good, but why is he on a team that clearly, like, you could have probably last year at the deadline, you could have probably got a second or third rounder for Kamara. Like, seriously,
100%.
Kamara was balling this year. He reminded everybody he's still a good bet.
And guess what? This draft class is so deep with running backs. You could have got one this year to replace Kamara if you had that problem.
Yeah. So the Saints, to me, they're still trying to hang on to like what they had a few years ago. You know what I mean? Like this team with Drew Brees that was so well put together.
I'm pretty sure he's thinking about bringing back Michael Thomas at this point. I mean, they just love old players. And
Nah, but in all seriousness, man, going back to DC,
it's just
if he's done for the year, or even if he's not, Saints quarterback has to be done.
Okay, that's Caleb's advice. I'm gonna tell you what the Saints are gonna do. If Derek Carr is not gonna get surgery, they will be like, say less. We're good with DC for a whole nother year, and I think they're gonna go just best player available. And then possibly second, third round, they'll get a quarterback. But it will be Quinn or it will be Jackson Dart.
Well, I will say this. The one thing they did really well this year is they actually, bringing back Chase Young. He actually had a really good year with the Saints this year. And bringing in Justin Reed. Justin Reed was a good signing. Justin Reed was a good safety.
Underrated.
But moving on, some NBA. The Suns fired Mike Budenholzer, after a 36-46 record, missing the playoffs, not even getting into the play-in as the 11th seed.
I'd be so mad at Bradley Beal if I was Mike, man.
Damn.
But like, how am I supposed to?
Come on, bro. Enough with the Bradley Beal slander, man.
I'm kidding, man. But it's not like he's playing well, though. Let's be honest. But then again, this Suns whole tenure with this little super team they got, terrible. Tell me about it, Caleb, because you know more than me. I just seen it more from the outside looking in, because I just know the Suns team hasn't been competing, and Kevin Durant hasn't been exactly too relevant when it comes to the playoffs lately. So,
look, first off, we know Mike Budenholzer is a good coach. He's a championship head coach. But clearly, what hurt him this year is that, look, he's an offensive-minded head coach, and this Suns team offensively throughout the year, the stats backed it up how bad they were, but just from an eye test spread, it's excruciating to watch them play. It was just not good basketball. It was my turn, then your turn, then that person's turn, and it was just there's no flow to this team offensively at all. when I watch this team play, and look, it's not all Mike Budenholzer's fault, but as a coach, you're going to be the scapegoat to be the first person out, because at the end of the day,
the arrow's going to be pointed at you.
Because you can't cut all your players. You can't cut all your guys. All those guys you're paying millions of dollars to. Coach is gonna be the one to go. That's just the way it is.
Guys have no trade clauses and stuff,
This guy, but I mean, it's just this. Look, the writing was on the wall for Bud. To be honest,
it really was.
you look at these coaches, man. I mean, Mike Budenholzer this year. Last year was Frank Vogel. He was gone after 1 year. Then Monty Williams, after 4 years, he was gone. Which
I don't think Monty Williams is terrible.
I think Monty Williams should be a head coach in this league. But obviously, the way it went in Detroit, it might be a few years. But I think Monty Williams is definitely a head coach that should get at least another shot. And just the way it ended with the Suns with Monty was, I mean, not the Saints, the Suns. The way it ended with the Suns with Monty, it was disappointing. And when he got fired, it was somewhat understandable, even though they was the finals in that time. But it is what it is, But the Suns right now are about to have their third coach in 3 years. And shout out to Devin Booker, man. People don't talk about loyalty. Devin Booker is about to have his 8th coach in 11 years. I mean, if I'm Booker, I'm sorry. It's over. Done. Like, if I'm Devin Booker, I'm not going through another rebuild. I already did that for years with Phoenix. Mm-hmm. And right when we became good, it was for a few years, and now we stink again. I'm not going through a whole rebuild again. So
right.
I think the Suns in the offseason are going to be one of the few teams to watch. Is do they completely just start over and wipe the slate clean? What happens with Beal, Booker, Durant? For me, along with the 76ers and the Nuggets, we're going to talk about them in a few seconds. A few minutes. Mm-hmm. Those are the teams I'm looking at in the summer that are going to be really interesting. But Matt Ishbia, man, the owner of the Phoenix Suns, who bought this team and wanted to make a splash to bring in KD. Look, Jay, in baseball, bro, sometimes when you swing and you guess right, it's a home run. Sometimes when you swing, you strike out.
Right.
And Ishbia, unfortunately, is an owner, along with James Jones, the GM, who, by the way, didn't get extended, so he might be gone after. Basically, this might be it for him. He's probably done when the season's over in the offseason.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes you lose, bro. You gamble and you just don't. The right number just doesn't come up, and the Suns are in a tough spot because they don't have a point guard. They don't have a big man. They don't have enough wings defensively. They finally let Bol play. Shout out to Bol. He actually played pretty well.
But no depth.
Yeah. And it's just tough, man, because the Suns were literally a few years ago, we looked at them as one of the best teams in the West. And now the Suns are back to where, you don't know if they're going to go into a rebuild again. Devin Booker, adios, buddy. Go pick some new places to live, bro.
Man, start looking.
Yeah. But last topic of the day, this happened. Was it last week?
It was last week.
It might be a little late to it, but
very, very surprising though news. Well, dependable on.
Oh, I was surprised. This is crazy.
No, me too. It just came out of nowhere. Came out of left field, especially this late.
Yeah, the Nuggets firing Mike Malone and GM Calvin Booth. Jay, what's your reaction to this, man? I mean, Mike Malone, a championship-winning head coach.
Right. Initially, I was just like, for what? I mean, you guys are winning. You guys are in the playoffs. You're sitting pretty. I think they are the 4th seed. Let me double check.
Yeah, they were when he was fired, they were the 4th seed. Now they're the 4th seed.
They're the 4th seed. Okay.
Still. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's and what does this do to team chemistry? Did the team approve of this in a sense? How is it gonna manage even coming with the interim GM? How is that even gonna change things up too? It's just everything has to get kind of shifted in such that short amount of time when things are in crunch time. This is playoff time. This players usually lock in. We heard a playoff Jimmy. We done seen them last night. So I mean, you have to get these players on, I'm brain farting, lost my word. Basically,
on the same page?
Yes, thank you. On the same page. And also, where's Jokic head at in all this? I really wonder how he feels, or if he just doesn't give a fuck. Because sometimes I feel like Jokic just could care less. He's like, all right, he's just going to tell me what to do.
He's going to go ride his horses in Serbia?
whenever he's done, I guess, man. But overall, just surprising, especially the GM aspect of it. I mean, head coach, you could kind of see it coming out of nowhere, I guess. It could be scapegoated, I guess, but GM, it was just weird.
So I think Calvin Booth as a GM here in Denver, I think he did some good things. I think there's definitely some moves that could have been done better. But I think this also starts up top with the Nuggets ownership. I mean, at the end of the day, the Nuggets, when they lost KCP and Bruce Brown, two key role players that helped them win championships a few years ago, like not paying them, it just hurt this team. This team just doesn't have the same depth. I mean, you're relying on Russell Westbrook, who's played really good actually for large parts of the season, but Russell Westbrook, and you're looking at Peyton Watson, who again is still a raw prospect. He's great defensively, but can't hit open shots. And I think this is, like I said, I think this started honestly above Calvin Booth from the ownership, just not giving Calvin Booth, not giving him the money to re-sign players, and then because I mean, look at Calvin Booth, some of his draft picks. You look at Christian Brown, like that's a like fantastic, great, great pickup of Christian Brown. He's probably going to win Most Improved Player of the Year. At least I think he should. Bringing in Russell Westbrook was a great move. So I just think this came down to a situation where it started up top and filtered its way to Mike Malone. And I think his coaching style, his just personality, he's hard-nosed, bro. He's old school. He's real. He's as real as it gets. He's going to call you out if you're playing like shit, if you're not doing what it takes to be a professional athlete. He's going to say it. And I think that core of them, yes, they won a championship. And I think with that, they're more of a veteran team. And with Mike Malone's personality, maybe it just came to a point where they just didn't want to hear it no more. Like they were tired of it. They want to hear a new voice. But I don't know, man. Like they won the last 3 games to close the season and win 50 games. That's great. But I feel like people underestimate good coaching. Yes, the success, I believe, is 90% the players. There's no doubt.
Yep.
You have to have the players. But in the playoffs, the coach's job is to, no doubt, when you come out of timeout, setting good out of balance plays to get your to get points or get stops, calling timeouts when you feel like your team is just out of sorts and getting the regrouping them, right?
Losing the momentum, got to get
exactly.
it back.
Like their coaches play a part, and you have to have experience in that. And relying on a rookie head coach, I get. Rick Adelman has been, a GM assistant coach there for some years. It's different when you're the lead guy.
You're top guy. You gotta be the talker. You gotta be the leader. You gotta be everything. You gotta cover the whole basis. You're not just right to the side.
I just think for a guy who spent 10 years there, longest tenured coach in their history, like a championship head coach. Excuse me. For him to get fired like this late was
booted too. Just like it's go find another job.
But like I said, I just think it starts from up top, bro, and it's filtered its way all the way down to the GM, the coaches, and the players. This is what gets when you have disagreements, when you're not playing the right personnel, when a coach feels a certain way about a player and you do, and there's disagreements. It's just
doesn't mesh.
This is kind of what happens. You know what I mean? But if the Nuggets were going to fire Mike Malone, they should have done it, in my opinion, in the offseason. Why not just let it ride out in the playoffs? You never know what could happen. You have Jokic. We know what Jamal Murray can do in the playoffs. But it's the Nuggets, man. And you talked about, to end it off, bro, you talked about Nikola Jokic, right, what he's thinking. I'm telling you right now, bro, I know he came out and said, hey, I knew before everybody did. They talked to me and told me that they were going to make this move to fire the coach and blah, blah, blah. They explained to me and I agreed to it, whatever. I'm telling you right now, bro, I would not be surprised if there's some conversation starting about Jokic's future in the offseason, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
I'm just being honest, bro. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I do got a question for you. Do they get past the Clippers this first round?
They can. it's going to be hard. I mean, I think the Clippers are hard. I think,
Clippers
excuse
are
me,
very underrated when it comes into this.
I think the Clippers can come out the West, bro. I think they're that good. Their experience, Kawhi and James Harden, Norman Powell, who should have been an All-Star, Chris Dunn, one of the better perimeter defenders in the league, Zubac, who is a top 10 center in this league, bro. Zubac is a monster. I'm blanking out on your boy Ben Simmons. You know, Ben Simmons gives them good depth coming off the bench, and Bogdanovich as a shooter. They've got they got a nice little team and experience. So
good depth there. Good depth.
The Clippers can win that series, bro. Like, I think it goes 6 or 7 games, but Nuggets, they're gonna have to come to play, bro. Because I tell you what, I know you guys got Jokic, but the Clippers got Kawhi, and Kawhi right now looks like he's locked in.
And then Chris Dunn all of a sudden wants to be relevant, but all of a sudden couldn't do that in Chicago or nothing of that sort.
Minnesota
rectified his career all of a sudden and wants to play well. Okay, and then when can this motherfucker shoot a 3 all of a sudden? Like, I'm sorry, I'm just used to the old fashioned Chris Dunn.
Hey, what about James Harden, bro? He was frying the Warriors, bro. He was
frying the Warriors. He was frying, but God, just some of them. It's like the SGA thing too, where it's just like you don't get touched.
The foul baiting.
I just don't like when foul baiting becomes like pure flopping. I don't like the pure flopping. At least get touched and act on it. You know what I mean? Like, don't just frail head back. At least get some contact up in there. But Harden, SGA, they play their game how they do, and that's how they get to the free throw line. That's how they get their points, and that's also how they pass off to other teammates, and they get their fouls for them in the and ones and all that.
Playoff Jimmy, those here.
No, playoff Jimmy is here. Let's recap that real quick. That was
okay.
Yeah, no. We got some time today. We got some time. It was nice to see because I feel like lately all we've been really seeing from Jimmy, not that it's bad, but facilitating, just letting the teammates get theirs, passing off for better opportunities, also getting them to the free throw line as well. Very smart. And the Warriors never been really known to get to the free throw line. You know what I mean? I like how the play style is really changing. And when you look at it from a game aspect, it's the other team trying to shoot all the threes now. It's them putting up all the shots. And then the Warriors are really working inside of the paint and getting all the free throws. And I feel like it's worth the trade they did, in my opinion.
There's no doubt. I mean, Jimmy Butler just has completely changed the Warriors season, their outlook. Before he got there, it looked like the Warriors were just dead. I mean, mid as hell.
It's terrible. I mean, weren't they like the 10th, 11th seed, and they just climbed?
They got Jimmy, and they believe with him they were 23-7 in the regular season. I mean, that's not a typical 7 seed. It's just a whole new team. Jimmy just gives them obviously another score, but also he does it in a different way than Steph. Steph obviously is coming off screens. He's constantly running,
moving off ball.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, like this constant movement with how Golden State plays because of Steph. With Jimmy, it's a whole different thing. It's a lot more isolation. It's a lot more 5'd out post ups, exactly, where they can just give him the ball and he'll go make a play.
Love the mid range game as well, where you just pull up real quick, get a nice shot.
Yeah.
But also like just like you said, giving Curry another option. Obviously, when Buddy Hield came along, everybody thought Buddy was gonna be. Buddy has just been nothing but terrible with some slight threes coming with it. It hasn't been that glamorous, but when you add a player like Jimmy, this is also where he wakes up. And I think the problem with Jimmy was he just wanted to get paid. That man just wanted what he was worth in his money, and guess what? He got it, and look at the outcome. So I think overall it's a very smart move from the Warriors, and I don't think there's any regret with the trade.
Yeah, man, it's one of the better in-season trades I've seen in a long time. It's not just like him as a player; it's just the energy that he's given to Steph, Draymond. And one thing that's going under the radar with Jimmy is just for me, like how he's holding the young dudes around him accountable.
Mm-hmm.
But also the chemistry he's gaining with guys like Podziemski and Quentin Post and Moses Moody. You know what I'm saying? He's just wherever Jimmy goes, bro, teams get better. He kind of has that Chris Paul effect where
Absolutely. And that,
wherever
and
he goes, they get better.
also, I think what also gets overlooked is how he is defensively and how he can
Oh, he's elite, bro. Even
keep
at 35,
every,
he's still elite,
exactly,
bro.
keeps everything in front of him. Good contest on every shot. Use everywhere off ball as well.
Hmm.
Just all around good moves. And I think Warriors, putting Quentin Post more in the game, it's worked out for him. With that deep three and
No
also just
Kaminga though.
his rebounding game. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't.
He's done. He's not coming back, bro. He's
I
done.
don't think
After the season's over, whether the
you think
Warriors win a championship or get bounced in the first round, Kaminga's not coming back. It's done.
it's injury. You think, or is it like
It's
Kerr not playing this man?
he's a healthy scratch, bro. He's a DNP.
Kerr's just not playing this man.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I mean, Kerr just. I mean, look, the Warriors are in a situation where Steve Kerr had to feel extremely confident about the guys that he had to put out there on the floor because
Mhm.
these games were super important. Like if the Warriors lost this game and then they had to play either the Kings or the Mavericks, and then 2 days later you got to fly to Oklahoma City for a 7-game series against them. Sorry, Warriors are done in the first round. So, like Kaminga, I agree, should at least get some minutes with his athleticism, at least
Some
his
PT,
rebounding, and he
some
can score a
PT.
little bit. He can score, bro. But
Honestly, I would have him in over Gary Payton, in my opinion. Because defensively, they just need someone bigger in there, in my opinion. And also, you're not getting as much production of when GP is shooting his 3-pointer. Just offensively, I feel like you get a little bit more there.
if anyone, I think Guy Santos, but Guy Santos plays well. He's a hustle guy.
He does play well. He plays
I
really
think
well.
Gary Payton, you got to have him out there because I think as a perimeter defender, he's the number one. Like he's the best perimeter defender on the Warriors. Like he's the guy that Steve Kerr is going to put on the best perimeter players. You know what I mean?
True.
And Gary Payton, he's a good cutter. He's a good rebounder, a slasher as well. But yeah, Kaminga, that's. I just think Kaminga is at a point where it's just he kind of just doesn't really fit.
Kind of lot. Kind of. I was just about to say he kind of like lost his footing in the lineup a bit.
Yeah, and the Warriors are in a situation where they can't have guys where they're still trying to maybe make their way back or a certain because
Trying
remember
to still experiment with him, and also because they haven't paid Kuminga, right? Like
no
all that. No. So I honestly think because of this as well, which I was also trying to get to a little bit, is I think Kuminga's on his way out as well.
he's done.
Like maybe that was the catalyst to cursing and just being like, all right, you're just not gonna play if you want out.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, like bro, when they got Jimmy, they were just playing so well a certain way that
You can't switch it up.
and people forget, bro, before Jimmy got there, Kaminga was playing really well. Like he was averaging like 20 points a game for like I want to say like a 2 month span.
It was
Like
for a good span. It was for a good
Like
span.
he was playing really well, but then he got hurt, and then obviously that's when they added Jimmy, and it just took off. So
Yeah.
Kaminga's a good player, he's a talented player, but for this system and I think for this team, it's just not going to work. But to go back to Jimmy, another thing too is just with him is that his play style, I think as well, is that it's giving Steph Curry rest while in the game.
Yep.
Because how you can give Jimmy the
taking
ball.
that time at the free throw line.
Well, yeah, free throws, but also just the way he plays. Like Steph can kind of instead of him running off screen, Steph can kind of go to the corner, go on the perimeter, and if Jimmy is driving and defense collapse, he can kick it back out. But Steph doesn't have to how many times we see this year where Steph was constantly moving, coming off screens, doing this or that, and Steph looked exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Now he can get rest.
Guess what? And guess what? When you're exhausted, you don't have all that energy in your arms to shoot. You're worn out, so everything's gonna come up short, or is it gonna whip off the backboard terribly? Or you're gonna airball. So I mean, Jimmy's that from stuff.
Jimmy's a stud, bro, superstar man, and playoff Jimmy, bro. It's real. Is there a better character or playoff? Is there a better character than playoff Jimmy, bro?
It's
crazy.
So, man.
During
playoff
the regular,
Jimmy has literally become a character.
During the regular season, he's good. He kind of coasts a little bit.
I feel like not only coasts, but he really lets his teammates do the work. And he's like, all right, let me just coast back and let me sit there. But he's like, if y'all really not doing anything, you really need me to step up. Come get this work.
Now you see why the Warriors gave him that 2 year,
You
$60
see
million
why?
extension.
You see why? I mean, and also I
Mike
heard
Dunleavy.
I heard through a lot of interviews too, like that's really all this dude wanted. He just wanted his money. He felt like he was worth that number, and he got it. So guess what? He's gonna play like playoff Jimmy.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
We'll
We'll
see.
see how this plays
I'm
out, though.
excited for
It's
this
gonna
playoffs,
be
though.
yes. Oh, speaking of which, next episode that'll be coming out will be a playoff prediction episode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
And
yes, yes.
probably the one after that. It will be the in person. It will be the NFL draft.
NFL draft.
It'll be the highlights.
What?
Like highlights of the draft. We're not gonna give them.
Oh, bro, I took that
hour.
totally. I was thinking of like highlights. Like, why are we watching football
Yeah, like of
highlights?
like.
Oh
picks.
shit!
Come on, man. You ruined my announcement. Damn.
Bro,
Anyways, y'all get ready for that one, man.
But the way you said it,
Motherfucker over here ruining my announcement and shit.
you said football highlights. I was like, damn.
I said
What?
NFL draft football highlights.
I got you. No, it's gonna be fun though, bro. It's gonna be fun. Definitely. It's gonna be a good one.
Oh yeah. So we'll see y'all next time, man. Follow the social medias. You know where we at. We'll see y'all, man.
Peace.